Welcome to Multifamily Deal Lab, where your host, Dave Lindahl, dissects recent multifamily deals done by his guests. Dave will extract what went right, what went wrong, and a number of key takeaways so your next deal may be more profitable.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Multifamily Deal Lab podcast. I'm Dave Lindahl, your host. And with me today, I have Erin, John, and Jimmy. And together, they did a deal in Killeen, Texas. So first of all, let me have all you guys introduce yourselves. Tell everybody where you're from and what you're all about. Go ahead. Why don't we start with ladies first?
Hi, Dave. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Erin Whitney, and I am super excited to be here. This is our first successful deal that we have gotten through, and I'm just so excited to tell everybody about it.
Sweet. John?
Yeah, so I'm John Berman. I'm Erin Whitney's husband and business partner, and Erin's been great to work with, and Jim's been great to work with, and it's just certainly a learning experience for me. I'm glad to be here.
Jimmy, tell everybody who you are. We've known each other since, 2006 or something like that?
Yeah, exactly, Dave. Yeah, it's been quite a while. So Jimmy Stewart, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I am so happy to be in Killeen, Texas. I got here yesterday. No snow. Yay. It's warm here.
Yeah.
I'd have shorts on, quite honestly, if I could, but I really look out of place here. So, because it's winter here. Anyway, so yes, been doing multifamily for quite a few years, and I have been able to help sponsor and give guidance and get Erin and John into this 54 unit deal here in Killeen, Texas.
Yeah. So normally I start with, how did you get this deal? But Jimmy is actually on site. And he's got about, 10 minutes that he can spare with us. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to say, what is Jimmy doing in this deal? How did this all come about? Because originally you guys saw the deal first. You started going through the process of doing the deal, but then something happened and you realized we need a third player in this particular deal. And so what happened? Explain that aspect of it.
Who would like to explain it?
Yeah.
Maybe Erin, do you want to explain how I came to be?
Sure, absolutely. And we are so grateful that you're in this deal with us. We got started in the deal. We had Jeff Kissy as our mentor, and he has been just an amazing mentor for us. And we were able to do the LOI, and we got into the contract, and then we knew that we needed to have a sponsor all the way along, and it was inching down in the contract.
So hold on a second, because there's going to be all types of people listening and watching this podcast. So explain, why you needed a sponsor.
Oh, well,
and what a sponsor does.
Okay, so we needed a sponsor because we did not have the financial backing in order to be able to get the loan, apply for the loan, and be successful at getting a loan for this deal. So we needed someone to come on the loan with us, but it's much more than that, in that this is, like I said before, our first deal. And so we needed somebody who had a lot of experience. And that's another thing that Jim has been able to bring to the table for us, is a lot of experience about exactly how do you run a deal like this once you have it under contract and once you've closed on it, because this is a heavy lift. There's a lot of rehab. a lot of rehab on this particular property. It's like probably one of the heaviest rehabs that you'll ever see. And, John has some really excellent construction experience. He's got lots and lots of knowledge in regard to that, but not enough for us to be able to do the deal and to do all of the renovation without some knowledge.
All right, so hold on for a second. So you knew you needed a sponsor because you're going after deals. This one happened to be a $2.3 million deal takedown. So you knew that you didn't have the net worth to cover that, because basically that's what you need in order to qualify for a loan. You need to have a net worth equal to the deal amount or the loan amount. And so you knew you were shooting bigger and you're going to need a sponsor. I'm going to ask two questions here. Number one, how did you find Jimmy? I want to ask that question first. How did you find Jimmy?
So we found Jimmy through Ari Mentor. And so
through the sponsorship event?
Yep. It wasn't through the sponsorship event, but it was. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Jeannie gave us Jimmy's name and other sponsors.
Yeah. Jeannie's like the community coordinator. So we have
Right.
a big RE mentor community, and Jeannie knows everybody and knows if you got a need out there, Jeannie fulfills it,
Absolutely.
which is awesome. So wait, so now that I want to go to the perspective of the sponsor. So Jimmy, so now you've got these two people, they got this deal, they're presenting it to you. What are you looking for in the people, and what are you looking for in the deal in order for this relationship to work for you to want to buy into this? And I don't mean buy in money terms. I mean, that you want to take this down with them.
Yeah. So certainly when I looked at the deal, I said, and how many deals have you done? And they said, this is our first. I said, wow. I said, this is a major heavy duty lift that we don't ever really recommend a student attempt for the first.
How many units and how much per door is the rehab?
It's honestly going to be about 24 to 25 a door.
25,000 a door for the rehab?
We are talking everything: windows, HVAC, new kitchens, new bathrooms, new floor. I mean, you name it. Front doors, exterior works. I mean, it's a heavy duty lift. It's major. So you need units. Yeah, so you need to really understand how to run a project of this scope, and the pitfalls that can come with it very quickly. So that I wanted to understand their knowledge. I want to understand their commitment to it, and more about who they are and the type of personalities they are and how we might work together. Obviously, I said in this case, I needed control of the deal in the sense of to make the final decisions, because there is just so many things that could potentially go off the rails, which they were comfortable with that side of it. And so with that, just wanted to make sure that we would have a strong partnership to get this, because this is definitely a lot of communication, a lot of people involved to get this one done. That said, I want to say, like, our in-place rents on this project are $425, but when we're done, they'll be $875.
Wow.
And so we got a huge upside here. And Colleen is on fire because it's in this triangle, and we have got a lot of rents that are growing rapidly in this market, just because of the push from Austin. So I was very interested in Colleen already. So when they came and they had this deal, I said, okay, it's in Colleen. That's my target. So this is very interesting that way. And with that pressure coming from Austin north, and certainly Dallas pushing south, it's just, you can just see how much activity is going on all through that whole corridor. And so I felt if we had the right mix, I had the knowledge and the ability to do it. I was interested in taking on a heavier lift project, but I wouldn't want to do too many of them, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But had the bandwidth to do this one.
Even an experienced guy, this is a pretty big deal for a first deal. Wow. That's when if somebody came to me and said, this is my first deal, what do you think? I would say either you get in it with somebody that knows what they're doing, or you walk away from it, because this deal is, I remember my first deal, 400 units, 46% occupied, and the rehab on that was like 12,000 a unit. And I thought it was no problem, because I had done so many smaller rehabs before, and man, I get taken to school so many times on that deal. I learned so much. All right. I know you got to go, Jimmy. Anything else that you wanted to say before you left?
No, I think I'll just say, Dave, you mentioned sponsorship. I didn't meet Erin and John that way, but I've met a lot of people. The sponsorship program really does work. The event. Yeah, that definitely works well. I've sponsored others that way. And in this case, through Jeannie, I really appreciate her guiding them to me and us fitting together. But definitely, I'll just say to generally people, the sponsorship event really does work for people, especially if they're trying to get the first deal. There's people like myself and a lot of other great people out there that are wanting to give back and help everyone. Yeah,
the next sponsorship event is happening in March 2022. So if anybody's interested in that, you can go to rementor.com or 781-878-7114. Thanks for the plug, Jim.
You bet. Awesome. All right. I'm going to check out here, but thanks for having me on. And guys, good luck. And I look forward to watching the replay to see how the rest turns out.
All right. Awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let's do what I usually do. And go from the beginning. Where did you get how did you get this deal?
We found it through a broker in Greysteel, I guess, with Greysteel. And we had been looking at Killeen. Initially, we weren't really, Killeen wasn't on our radar. But Erin's son had been at UT in Austin, so we were aware of Killeen. And another person that we met through our mentor asked us to invest in another property in Killeen. And we did the LOI and we kind of got started on it. And we realized that it really wouldn't work. Got Killeen on our radar, and then when this came through from the Grace. Anyway, so we had looked at another property in Killeen, and we decided it wasn't going to work. But then when this one came along, we said, Killeen has a lot of potential, and we did our due diligence, and we said, I like the way Jim phrased it, is you've got upward pressure on the rents from both Austin and Dallas, and it just seemed like a natural thing to do.
So, Erin, so this deal, it was mismanaged, with the amount of rehab that's needed. To talk about the history of this deal, how did it get like this? Whenever you get into a deal that needs this much rehab, you have to ask yourself two questions. Number one, how did it get like this? And then number two, can I fix it? So how did you answer those two questions?
So we didn't have a lot of information about the history on this because the people that we bought it from had bought it just a year earlier. Oh, wow. And so we didn't really have any information from any more than a year back. So we don't have a lot of information on how it got that way. But what we could tell was that the rehabs that they were doing were just a light rehab. And they evidently must have had some trouble with getting enough funds for it or something. I think they didn't plan well enough to be able to make all of the payments. And so I think they got in trouble is what happened here. And so
I just want to make one other point. This is a big repositioning. And the two most common reasons that repositionings don't work is that the person that buys it hires the wrong management company to oversee the repositioning. And if they do it themselves, that's definitely the wrong management company. And then number two, they run out of money. The two most common reasons why, people get into a situation like this and then they have to sell at a discount to somebody else so they don't lose everything. Yeah. Okay, so boy, this is such a huge rehab. So it was, what was it on the market for? What did you start negotiating at?
Well, it was on the market at 2.3. And we brought it down 100,000 from that, and we started there. And we were nearing, I think that they came up about halfway in between. And then there was a scheduled call for offers. And during the scheduled call for offers, the realtor came back to us and said they've got another offer that's pretty comparable to yours, and it's somebody who's got more experience in this market, and it's looking like they'll have an easier time closing this. And so John and I had a powwow and said, you know what, we've had several LOIs out, we've had a couple of different deals under contract, and they haven't panned out the way that we wanted them to. We said, you know what, we just want to go in and we want to get this deal. We want to get this first deal. So let's give them what they want. And John is absolutely brilliant when it comes to numbers. He did this amazing spreadsheet that has like 6 or 7 different tabs and showed all of the upside of this and all of the downside. And after looking at that, we said, you know what, it's going to work really well, even at 2.3. And so let's just get in. So that's what we did.
And at that time, you didn't have Jimmy Stewart on your team?
We did not. It was just us at the time. We knew we needed to get a sponsor, but we didn't have him on board yet. And so it was just the two of us. And it was like, but it's a funny thing, Dave.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let me just tell you this quick story, because this is really key to us being able to actually do what it is that we wanted to be doing through the RE Mentor program. When John and I started getting into RE Mentor, the day that we signed up, we were at a hotel in Denver and we decided to sign up, and we went to I guess a line in the floor of that particular hotel. And we stood up, we held hands with each other, and we said, okay, we jumping. If we're jumping, we're going to do this. And so we said 1, 2, 3, and we jumped over that line and said, we're in. And
there was a line on the floor?
There was a line on the floor.
Okay.
And so we said, we are in, we're going to do this. I don't care what it takes. We're going to get into multifamily. And we felt like this was our moment. And so we said, you know what, we're jumping. And it'll all fall in place if we just keep with RE Mentor, because they're helping us all the way through. So
you signed up for the program, you went through the boot camp, and then you use us as support as you go forward through your multifamily journey.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Jeff has been invaluable. I mean, it's like, it seemed like every time we would talk to him on our scheduled sessions, he'd say something and then say, wow, that just saved us $10,000 or whatever it was,
This is Jeff Kissy, who is our mentor.
Yeah, mentor coach, yeah. Mentor/coach. We call them mentors. Most people call them coaches, but yeah. Jeff came up through the ranks as well. I remember when he came up, he did the same thing you did, but then he didn't do anything for a while. Then he said to his wife, like 9 months later, hey, honey, we spent this money. Let's do something with it. And then from there, I mean, they just rolled, and now, they're worth a lot, and they have the heart of giving back. So they became a mentor. So that's awesome. Okay. So how much did you have to put down in this deal? You got it signed, you don't have a sponsor. How much did you have to come out of pocket?
Well, we had to put down $23,000, 1%. And then there were other costs that took it up to about $45,000 of our own money that we had to put in.
And when did Jimmy get involved?
I think, a month or so after we signed the contract?
It was a couple of weeks after, I think, when we first talked to him. Yeah.
And so how did you do? What was the raise?
The raise is 1 point. Well, we're finishing it up. We haven't decided the final number, but it's about 1.3 million.
That's more than 50% of the purchase price. How much you're putting in 25,000 a door at 50 units? How much is that? That's almost $750,000 or 600,000.
Yeah, a little more than that.
It's more than that. Yeah.
We have bridge financing, and they are covering $600,000 of the, or roughly $600,000 of the loan, for the cost.
Oh yeah, it's over $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So your all-in cost is how much?
For just us, or do you mean
the whole deal?
Oh,
are you guys all in for is it 3.4 million after all the rehab's done?
Yeah. I mean, it will be in that ballpark, but we really feel like when we can do raise the rents the way that other people have raised their rents, and we should talk about that, because there's another property, and it's about a block away, and it's essentially the same property built roughly the same time. And these were old RE Mentor students, Carl and Monse. I don't know if you remember who they are, but anyway.
Carl and Monse Marion. They took the mentorship a long time ago down in Florida when you were first starting, Dave.
And now they're retired. Retired and happy, drinking pina coladas on some beach somewhere.
Right. In Killeen.
Ball of fire, that couple. But anyway, so we were able to go and look at their property, and they were very helpful, very forthcoming, and talked to them, and they had basically purchased their property. They purchased in 2019, and they're rehabbing it. It's 64 units, 68 units, something like that. And they are currently with the one bedrooms that they have rehabbed, they're getting $875 per door.
And you're getting 400 and something per door on this one?
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's about 425 right now.
Right. And it's not like we are, so basically we have a model to go by, and it's proof of concept.
Yeah. And plus you've got somebody, within our mentor community. So they're going to give you they're going to be open and give you the facts and do what they can to help you out to be successful.
Yep.
So that's
Right.
awesome. That worked out nice. I want to go back to the raise. How did you raise that money? 1.3 million. Your very first raise.
Yeah. So we had some of it that we raised ourselves just because we had kind of like Jeff Kissy, we jumped into the RE Mentor and then we didn't do anything for a while. But the one thing that we did do is we kept track of all of the people that we did talk to and started a spreadsheet for ourselves. And so we went back to our spreadsheet and said, okay, who is it that we can talk to about this? And so some of it we raised ourselves, and some of it comes from Blue Ring Investments, which is Sanjay Hedge and Jeanette Birnbaum. And they were introduced to us through our sponsor, Jim Stewart. Mm-hmm. And they have been very instrumental in raising quite a few of the funds. So between the two of us, and then Jim also had one investor that he brought in. And so, yeah,
that third-party company that you just mentioned, are they collecting a fee? Are they getting equity? What are they getting for their portion of the raise?
They're getting some fee and some equity.
Okay, good.
Well,
if you don't mind telling, what did you negotiate for equity, just so other people know when they use a third party, what your deal was?
John, do you recall the details on that?
So they are getting essentially 25% as a pro rata share of how much they raise.
25% of the management fee, based on how much they raise. So if 25% of the management fee goes to the raise, then they are getting their percentage of the raise of that, which is kind of confusing.
That is really confusing.
Yeah. Is there another way to say that? Let's see. So so our portion of this is 40% as the managers. So the whole management structure.
Oh, so they're getting 25% of 40%?
Right. No, it's 25% of the 40% is for the whole raise. So the portion that we brought in is a percentage of that 25%. The portion that they brought in is a percentage of it.
So to break it down, to try to make it not so confusing. So 40% of the equity on the management fee side goes to you. Of that, 25% is taken out for the raise. So if this particular company did 50% of that raise, they would actually be getting 12.5% of that 25%.
Right.
That is very confusing, but once you get a handle on it, it makes total sense, because that's how a lot of deals are structured.
Right. And I ended up, someone I met at the last UP had asked me about that. So I set up a spreadsheet for him so that he would be able to put in his own values and really figure it out, very precisely.
Yeah. So I just want to mention UP is Ultimate Partnering. That's the big event we have every year. And we have usually special guests, Emmett Smith, Sugar Ray Leonard, Barbara Corcoran came one year. This year it's going to be in Phoenix in October. So anywhere between 1,200, 1,500 multifamily members, a lot of our alumni, bunch of new people as well, and all going around and sharing with each other what it takes to be successful in this business and partnering. That's what it's all about. But for everybody else, at the end of this podcast, I want to thank you for listening in. And we will see you next time on Multifamily Deal Lab.
This has been another edition of Multifamily Deal Lab. If watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, so you don't miss the next session, and review the contact links on this page.